You have to read the selection. Before you continue reading, let me inspire you with this quote from Dr. Seuss. The more you read, the more things you will know. The more you learn, the more places you'll go. So I hope you are inspired with this quote so you will sustain your reading activities. After reading the selection, your output will be written on your ADM notebook. So your output will look like this. Let's try to give an example. After reading that, you now find out what are substances and what are mixtures. So now you are ready to give an example of a mixture or a substance. So for substances, you have there an example of salt. For mixtures, an example that you can see at home is pancake. So now you can give other examples aside from the one mentioned. For what's more, in this section, natural mixtures are presented for you to classify whether these are substances or mixtures based on their properties. So again, you have to read the given selection. These reading activities will bring you to other places because Activity 1 will present how salt is collected from the sea. For Activity 2, you will be brought back to history with China and Philippines. And the third activity will help you understand why buildings are painted. So let me reiterate, you have to do a lot of reading. After these activities, you can now determine what you have learned and you can summarize it by completing the paragraph. Let's try to do the first statement. As I carefully read each activity, I realized that blank and blank are just around us, waiting to be discovered for our survival and healthy living. What is your answer for the first blank? Very good. Substances. What about the second one? Yes, mixtures. So let us read once more the sentence. As I carefully read each activity, I realized that substances and mixtures are just around us, waiting to be discovered for our survival and healthy living. The next part is what I can do. For this part, you are going to view an experimental activity on how to make the egg naked. This experimental video will help you or guide you in making wise decisions in choosing safe substances and mixtures for healthy consumption. After watching this one, there are questions to be given which you will answer it.
On this Saturday morning, it is time for Imagine It. Carl Nelson is here, my buddy, old friend, old pal. What are we doing today, Carl?
We're going to have fun with something you can do at home.
Okay.
Okay? And so I brought in some raw eggs.
Okay.
So raw eggs have crunchy shells.
Yes, okay.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could make a naked egg? So
now keep this PG, Carl.
It is. This is cool stuff. A naked egg, here, go ahead and take this, is an egg that has no shell.
Oh.
So go ahead, give it a little squeeze, gentle.
Okay,
Gentle. You don't
all
want
right.
to burst it.
Sure.
If you get some vinegar, which most people have at home,
Sure.
and just put it in a jar, drop a fresh raw egg in the vinegar, you'll get these nice bubbles, and that calcium carbide, that carbonate that the egg shell is made of, will dissolve.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and if you ever hard-boiled an egg and peeled it, you know, there's like that membrane.
Thin, yeah.
There are two of those membranes inside, and that is the only thing holding that egg together.
Wow.
In fact, go ahead and try to bounce it.
Oh,
well,
all right.
Bounce, not throw.
Sorry.
It's a difference. But yeah, I mean,
okay.
it is.
Okay, good.
You know, but that's cool though. You know that if you drop it too high,
and you just see this little. That's what was holding it in, just that little thin membrane.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Now, check this out though. The naked egg is actually a little bit bigger than the original egg. So what's going on? The membrane itself will allow some things to go in, like water.
Okay.
So a regular egg inside is about 90% water. If you put it in a jar of vinegar, which is about 100% water, the water will go inside the egg, make the egg swell.
Oh, okay.
So you can actually get a larger egg. Now, you might wonder, is that really happening, or is there some other trick going on? So last night, I took one of these naked eggs and soaked it in some green food coloring.
This is very Easter-like, Carl.
Very
I like
Easter-like,
this.
it is. So I'm gonna have you pop that. I've never done this before.
All right.
We're gonna see if the innards, don't get too close. We're gonna see if the innards are actually green.
Yes, they are.
They are very green. So that proves the whole point that food coloring is actually moving through the membrane and making the inside green.
Yeah, and here's the membrane of that one, bright green.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
The opposite thing, this is messy, so I'll pull this out.
Okay.
The opposite thing is if you take some corn syrup.
Ooh.
Corn syrup does not have very much water in it at all, and the egg shrivels up.
Interesting. So there's just pretty much the yolk inside of there.
Pretty much just
a
the
little
yolk.
bit.
We've pulled out most of the water. It's all about osmotic pressure.
Okay.
So that actually will pull the water out. And if we wanted to rehydrate this guy, we could just throw it in a cup of water. The water will move back through the membrane.
Now, how long does that process take? You said that you did the green egg overnight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And put the egg in the vinegar in one day, swap out the vinegar.
Okay.
The next day, you will have your naked egg. You'll have an egg that is
an egg that bounces if you give it a light toss, not a slam.
A light bounce. Yes, not a slam. That's right.
Awesome.
But that, again, that's a cool experiment. You can see how high you can drop the egg before it does burst.
Sure. And I wouldn't do it with food coloring. Might be a little bit messy
Might
at
be a
home.
little bit messy,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Carl, thanks so much for coming down. Sure. That's this week's Imagine It. And if you want to head down to the Imagination Station, they are open Tuesday through Saturday. And then on Sunday from noon to 5, that is downtown Toledo. Imagination Station, you guys have the new exhibit down there, correct?
Mindbender Mansion.
Yes.
And
awesome.
today is Saturday. If you're Lucas County resident, 12 and under, you get in free.
There you go. Carl Nelson, thanks so much. And for all of those of you celebrating Easter in a few weeks, this might be a good one to do with the kids.
Make some naked eggs.
All
Absolutely.
right. Sounds good. Let's go check in with Dave. He has a check of sports.
The post-assessment contains 15 multiple-choice type of questions. This will be the summative test for this third module. You are expected to answer it honestly on your ADM Science notebook. Let me give you another quote. In answering your activities, Venkataraman says, honesty does not mean simply speaking your mind. Honesty means to be very clear about everything going inside you. Where there is honesty, feeling becomes pure and clean. The genuine honesty cultivated within you is what will reach you out and touch others. So let's be an instrument of honesty by answering all the activities. For the additional activity, you will be brought to other countries. You'll have to read how salts are mined in the different countries. As you can see, there are salts that are colored. You have here black, pink, and dark one. After reading this activity, you shall now answer the concept check. In the concept check, you are going to classify whether the enumerated salts are substance or mixtures. Under column B, you tell the properties that makes them a substance or mixture. So here is an example. Seawater. Yes, it's a mixture. What will tell you that the seawater is a mixture? Very good. It can be separated into other or simpler components by ordinary means, just like mining. So that's the end of this module. Before signing off, May I once more remind you the quote presented earlier. The more you read, the more you will know. The more you learn, the more places you'll go. So keep on reading and studying at home for your safety during this COVID-19 pandemic. Good luck and enjoy your modular lessons. This is your science teacher, Teacher Winnie.
Hi everyone, how are you? Today is another day for you to explore and learn the next lesson in the world of English. I am Teacher Mildred and you will be with me in learning this module. You can ask your parents or guardian or elder brother or sister in doing the different activities found in this module. Let's get started. Look at the screen. Is it the same with the module you are holding? I am the developer of this module. This module will guide you in composing clear and coherent sentences using appropriate grammatical structures following the subject-verb agreement. After this lesson, you should be able to accomplish the following learning objectives. First, use the different rules in subject-verb agreement. Second, follow correctly the rules in subject-verb agreement. And lastly, compose clear and coherent sentences using appropriate grammatical structures by following the subject-verb agreement. You are encouraged to actively engage yourself in exploring the module. Read the directions carefully and do the learning activities provided. What I know. This is a pretest that will measure your knowledge or skill about our lesson for today. Answer 1 to 5 in this activity to check what you already know about the topic. Let's start. Make 3 columns, which is the subject, the verb, and number. For each sentence, write the subject and verb in the correct column. Then write singular or plural in the last column. What's in? This part of the module will measure your skills or knowledge about our previous lesson, which is identifying the subject and the verb in the sentence. Read each sentence carefully. Make 2 columns to write the subject and the verb. Answer 1 to 5. What's new? In this section, we are going to learn more about composing clear and coherent sentences using appropriate grammatical structures by following the subject-verb agreement. Study these sentences beside each picture and underline the appropriate answer inside the parentheses. Take note of the subject used before answering. Now, going back from the activity 1 to 5, let us analyze your answers by identifying the subject, verb, and number, just like what you did in the first activity. Look at your answers. If your answers are the same under the verb in the second column, the number in the third column tells that the verb agrees with the subject in the first column. In number 1, the gate near the bushes makes squeaky noises, where gate is the subject, which is singular. Therefore, the verb that agrees with the subject is makes, which is also singular. Same is true with number 2, where neither of the scientists is the subject, which is singular. So the verb that agrees with the subject is was famous. In number 3, the subject is grandma and grandpa, which is plural. So the verb that agrees with the subject is call. In number 4, the subject is student, which means singular. So use is. And lastly, in number 5, diabetes is the subject and is singular. So the verb that agrees to it is the word affects. For you to understand more and compose your own sentences later, there are certain rules to follow in the subject-verb agreement. First, a singular subject takes a singular verb, and a plural subject takes a plural verb, meaning, if the subject is singular, the verb is added with s. If the subject is plural, the verb is without s. Example, she writes every day. They write every day. When the subject is composed of 2 or more nouns or pronouns connected by "and", use a plural verb. Example, green and blue are my favorite colors. The subject green and blue is connected with the word "and", meaning more than one. Number 3. When a phrase comes between the subject and the verb, remember that the verb still agrees with the subject, not the noun or pronoun in the phrase following the subject of the sentence, meaning the phrase between the subject and the verb has no effect to the verb. It will always agree with the subject. Example, the student who carries colorful balloons is my brother. The subject is student, not the balloons. So use the verb is to agree with the subject. Number 4. The words and phrases like each one, either, neither, everyone, everybody, anyone, anybody, nobody, somebody, someone, and no one are singular and require a singular verb. Example, each of the participants was willing to be recorded. So your clue here is the word each, which means singular. In number 5, non-count nouns. These are things that you cannot count or touch which take a singular verb. Examples of this are sports, economics, electricity, mathematics, and others. Example, the information obtained from the business owners was relevant to include in the study, where information is the subject, which means singular, so use is for the verb. Read the rules again from 1 to 5. Go back from your answers. What rules apply your answers from 1 to 5? What's more? This time, let's apply the rules that we have learned. In Activity 1, choose the correct verb inside the parentheses to agree with the subject. In Activity number 2, write check if the subject agrees with the verb and X if it does not agree with the subject. If you forgot, go back to the rules before writing your answers. What I have learned. This part will measure your skills and knowledge gained from the different activities. In Activity 1, compose a sentence out of the given subject and verb written in the box. Select the appropriate verb to be used. What I can do. In this part, you're going to write on your own. Compose a sentence by following the 5 rules in subject-verb agreement. Follow the format. In the post-assessment, you must answer this part to know where you mastered the learning competency, or you need to go back to the discussion and activities where you got low. So this goes the direction. Letter A. Based from the pictures below, compose a sentence using the rules. Letter B. Compose a sentence by providing a verb that agrees with the given subject. Lastly, in the additional activity, This is given to you to enrich your knowledge or skills of the lesson learned. Choose the correct answer in the parentheses. Follow the rules in the subject-verb agreement. Then write the whole paragraph with the correct answers. I hope you learn or gain knowledge and skills from our lesson for today. Continue answering the learning activities with the help or guide of your parents or guardian, elder brothers or sister. There will be second part of this module to be issued to you as for the continuation in composing sentences using the rules in subject-verb agreement. Again, this is Teacher Mildred. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Magandang araw! Ako si Ginang Mirna Olante, ang iyong guro sa Araling Panlipunan sa ika-6 na baitang. Ako'y nagagalak na sa kabila ng pandemyang COVID-19 ay nakahanda pa rin ang iyong puso at isipan sa pagpapayaman ng iyong kaalaman. Bago mo simulan ang pag-aaral sa paksang tatalakayin, buklatin mo muna ang iyong module sa bahaging subukin. Sagutin mo ito ng may katapatan. Kapag natapos mo, sumangguni ka sa susing sagot sa huling pahina upang iwasto ang iyong sagot. Handa ka na bang magsimula sa aralin ngayon? Ano kayang kwento ang maaari mong mabuo sa mga larawang ito? Anong salita ang maaari mong iugnay sa mga larawan? Tama. Ang ibon ay malayang nakakalipad at masaya kasama ng kanyang mga kalahi. Tulad din ng taong masaya kapag malayang nakikihalubilo at hindi nakakulong. Maaari nating iugnay ang salitang malaya sa larawang ito. Anong damdamin ang naramdaman mo noong makita mo ang larawan? Masaya, sapagkat walang kahit sinong may gusto na nakakulong at sapagkat napakasaya ng buhay na malaya. Kilalanin natin ang taong buong puso at buhay na lumaban para sa kalayaan ng ating bansa mula sa kamay ng mga Espanyol at Amerikano. Sino sa palagay mo ang nakalarawang ito? Tama. Siya si Emilio Aguinaldo. Naaalala mo pa ba kung sino siya? Tama. Siya ang inihalal na pangulo sa ginanap na kombensyon sa Tijeros noong palitan ang katipunan ng pamahalaang revolusyonaryo noong panahon ng mga Kastila. Isa siyang magaling na heneral. Maraming naipanalong laban. Siya ang namuno sa pangkat pagdalo sa Kawit, Cavite. Masidhi din ang kanyang pagnanais na makalaya ang Pilipinas sa kamay ng mga Espanyol. Nakamit kaya natin ang kalayaan? Paano? Makinig mabuti at alamin natin ang sumunod na mga pangyayari. Ngunit bago iyan, suriin muna natin ang mga larawan na makakatulong upang maunawaan natin ang tinatalakay sa ating aralin. Ano ang ipinapahiwatig ng larawang ito? Tama. Ito ang tinatawag na Kongreso. Dito nagpupulong ang mga kinatawan sa iba't ibang lugar sa ating bansa. Sila ang bumabalangkas ng batas para sa kabutihan ng ating bansa. Ang mamuno, magkaroon ng kongreso, at makalaya ang nais makamit ni Aguinaldo. Nakamit kaya niya ito? Magaling! Ito ang larawan ng pagtaas ng bandila ng Pilipinas sa Kawit, Cavite noong ika-12 ng Hunyo, 1878 bilang tanda ng kalayaan. Naganap ito pagkatapos bumalik ni Aguinaldo sa Pilipinas mula sa Hong Kong at pabagsakin ang puwersang Espanyol sa tulong ng mahukbong Amerikano. Ngayon, basahin mo ang 3 katanungan na gagabay sa iyo sa pagbasa mo sa teksto. Ano ang nangyari bago itatag ang Kongreso ng Malulos? Bakit kailangang itatag ang Kongreso ng Malulos? At ano ang naging bunga ng pagkakatatag ng Kongreso ng Malulos? Alam mo ba kung gaano kasidhi ang pagnanais ng mga Pilipino na makamit ang kalayaan? Malalaman mo iyan sa tatalakayin natin ngayon. Ano ang ipinapakita ng larawang ito? Tama. Nagkasundo ang 2 pangkat. Ayon sa ating kasaysayan, nakipagkasundo ang mga Amerikano kay Aguinaldo na tulungan silang labanan ang mga Kastila sa Pilipinas upang magkaroon na rin ng kalayaan ang ating bansa. Nangako ang mga Amerikano na wala silang hangaring masama sa Pilipinas. Natupad kaya ang pangakong ito? Hindi. Bago matapos ang digmaan ay nakipagkasundo na ang mga Amerikano sa mga Kastila. Ito ang tinatawag na kasunduan sa Paris o Paris Treaty. Ano kaya ang kaugnayan ng simbahang ito sa ating kalayaan? Alam mo ba? Pagkatapos sumuko ng mga Kastila, itinatag ni Aguinaldo ang Kongreso sa Malulos. Pinasinayaan ito sa simbahang ito. Ang simbahan ng Barasuain sa Malolos, Bulacan. Gaano kahalaga ang Kongreso ng Malulos na ipinapakita ng larawan? Tama. Binalangkas ng Kongreso ng Malulos ang saligang batas. Layunin nito na itatag ang isang republika at ipakilala ang kasarinlan ng bansa sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo. Kaya, dahil sa Kongreso ng Malulos, itinatag ang unang republika ng Pilipinas. At ang unang pangulo ay si Emilio Aguinaldo. Siya ngayon ang kinikilala sa ating kasaysayan na unang pangulo ng unang republika ng Pilipinas. May natutunan ka ba sa ating tinalakay? Magaling! Paano na itatag ang Republika ng Pilipinas? Itinatag ang Kongreso sa Malulos at pinasinayaan ito sa simbahan ng Barasuain. Binalangkas ng Kongresong ito ang saligang batas. At nakasaad sa saligang batas ang pagpapakilala sa kasarinlan ng Pilipinas at pagtatag ng Republika ng Pilipinas. Sa larawang nakikita mo, anong ipinapakita nito? Anong damdamin ang ipinapahiwatig? Gusto mo ba ito? Sila ay mga batang malungkot sapagkat sila ay inaabuso at hindi nagtatamasa ng kalayaan at karapatan. Siyempre, ayaw mo ito, di ba? Ano ang tinatamasa ng mamamayan ng isang bansang malaya? Tama. Tinatamasa nila ang karapatang maisilang at maging masaya habang lumalaki. Malayang mahubog ang kaisipan at maprotektahan sa anumang pang-aabuso. Ngayon, paano mo poprotektahan ang mga karapatan at kalayaan na tinatamasa mo ngayon? Sasagutin mo yan sa susunod nating pagkikita. Kunin mo na ang iyong module at basahin ang mga panuto sa bawat gawain mula sa balikan, tuklasin, suriin, pagyamanin, isaisip, isagawa, tayahin, at karagdagang gawain. Pagkatapos mo sagutin ay iwasto mo ito. Sumangguni ka sa mga susing sagot sa hulihang pahina ng iyong module. Kung mayroon kang katanungan, Maaari kang magpatulong sa mga kasambahay o kapitbahay na maaaring makatulong sa iyo. Maaari mo din akong i-text at nakahanda akong tumulong sa iyo. Hanggang sa susunod nating pagkikita. Paalam!
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Programa abinukel iti Department of Education, Division of Benguet, tapno agtultuloy nga maipaayan ti adal, dagiti patpatgen ken dungdungwen tayo nga anak, nga agbasbasa, uray ita agdama a pandemya. Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Na isang sangaya na programa iti radyo nga pakaitampukan iti napateg nga ad-adal. Ad-adal nga mainaig iti panagbasa ti anak tayo a maibinsa-binsa, babaen iti panangipalpalawag dagiti nasisirib ken nasasariri nga manursuro. Isuda dagiti mamaestra ken mamaestro tayo iti DEP-ED Benguet nga inkay makadkadwa iti tangatang. Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Ala nga rod, patpatgan mi nga masansanay, agbasbasa, ken papagayam, awisen mi amin da kayo adungeg iti daytoy nga programa. Ket kabayatan tin kay panagdengdengeg, ipaayan mi da kayo ti umdas ken naan-anay nga impormasyon wenno pa kaammo amang iwanwan iti inkay panang sungbat kadagiti na idatag nga saludsod ken aktibidades iti learning modules yo. Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Isagsagot kada kayo iti Department of Education, Division of Benguet, ken daytoy nga istasyon. Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.